sees my own silhouette. I'm getting stronger, step by step. The clock is ticking.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another video where today we're going to be looking at a pair of speakers that I got about 5 months ago. I'm going to be reviewing or looking at these speakers. These are the Logitech Z200 speakers. Somebody do count on how many speakers I've said today. But anyway, so we're going to talk about like the cons in this part of the video and the pros, of course, because in cons you get pros and in pros you get cons. So in the box you get manuals, wrapping, bloody blah, and then you'll get 2 speakers. They're both connected unless if you just trim the wires and just chop it. But in the box you'll get a master and a slave. Powered and passive. Powered is the amplified version of the passive. The passive is the unpowered version of the passive. No, of the blah. Anyway, so basically if you don't know what passive and powered or master and slave is the slave or passive speaker will just have one wire, will tend to only have one wire, or positive and negative if you're lucky, which is just 2 wires of positive and negative. But anyway, this particular speaker only has one speaker wire coming out. The passive will not have any LED or any controls and stuff. It will just have 2, or if it's a 2-way, then it'll have a woofer and a tweeter. But this is just a 1-way. I'll talk about that later. But anyway, that's basically what a passive version is. A powered version will basically just have all the controls, everything on here, so you can control it here, and it will have most of the cables. This is because it has an amplifier stuck to it. I mean inside the unit, that is, but usually this one would weigh less because there's no amplifier in it, and this one would weigh more. Yeah, I can definitely feel that. This one definitely has an amplifier in it. I mean, the amplifier usually tends to be very, like something like this, like in the, about there I think is where the amplifier is located, or maybe in the middle, that's likely where. But anyway, this powered speaker would then send the signal, well I mean the signal from the computer, which is connected up to this speaker, then this speaker would then process everything in here, with like the volume and stuff, and then send like the daisy chain to the other speaker. Then this speaker does nothing other than just play it back. That's basically why it's called a slave and this one's called the master, because this one receives the commands and this one receives, I suppose, the mix out. And then we're going to be talking about what this volume knob does. Basically, if you go this way, it'll turn it up. If you go this way, it'll turn it down. But if you turn it down enough, you won't be able to turn it down more than this. But if you press a bit further, like a bit more harder, it'll turn off. You didn't break the speaker, don't you worry. This is just effectively a turned off speaker. To turn it back on, other way around, and then turn back on. That's basically it. So self-explanatory. It's some speakers have buttons here to turn it off, but I prefer mostly like that. This is one of the reasons I bought this pair of speakers. Not because it didn't have any subwoofer, because I don't have any. Well, I kind of have room now. As you can see, there used to be a bed in there, but I got rid of it. I suppose let's talk about the cool features. So the cool feature is that this is like a bass control. So this will control all the bass. So if you turn it up, currently now it's turned up, bass max. If you turn it down, it will turn down the bass, I suppose, if that makes sense. In my opinion, it doesn't really affect anything, but I can kind of feel a bit of a difference on bass, but really it does nothing. It's really pointless. That's basically it for the controls. And now for the cons. There's a single woofer handling all the frequencies. Therefore, there's not a 2-way. Although it might seem like a 2-way, it's not a 2-way. There is a crossover, but it's not it really doesn't do much, to be honest. I don't think there is even a crossover, because this is a fake woofer, I suppose, if that makes sense. This is a passive radiator which makes more bass in speaker wise, and this is the woofer that is actually musical and makes music. This is the only woofer that makes sound. There's two woofers and two passive radiators in I suppose there's the two and there's the woofers. So therefore this woofer makes all the bass, all the highs and all the mids. It struggles a lot in them. The bass not so much, but the highs, the mids especially, like the mids you can really not feel them at all. The mids, like, I'd like to put like a mid-range driver here or something, because like there's no mid bass or anything. However, the other con, I suppose, is that there's a lot of cables. That's a big annoying thing. On the master, there's a lot of cables. And the other con, I suppose, is that alright, this comes down, it's not a problem at all, but if you, like, it takes like 2 seconds after the LED comes on to, suppose, it does like a little bass hit, it does like this, boom, like that. It literally just came on like this, boom, like that. I kind of like did it because you couldn't really hear it, but you get the idea, don't you? I'll show you a bit. Well, I'll show you a sound demo earlier on in the video, so stick around for that. It's not really the most big and most bulkiest setup, but it's okay for people that don't really care about audio, or you just want to get a cheap setup. That's branded, of course. It's okay for that. It's not high quality. Well, it's plastic design, as you can see, but it's not like really gonna give you like the most high quality of all speaker setups. Like, for example, those JBL ones are of course monitors, are meant for DJs or hardcore gamers. They can have them on your desk, but really I don't really use these for much music, to be honest. But I'm gonna play some test tones in a minute, but for music wise I'd use them. And I would recommend that if you have £200 to spare. But of course, compared to a £20 budget system, these just get the job right done. And they do have a bit of excursion. I don't know whether I'll be able to play some notes of that. And that being to the max. And there you go. So I'm gonna play some test tones. So I showed you earlier on in the video where if you want to feel the bass, well, you should really have it. It's round about there if you want to go back to that bit. The bass is set to the max. If you don't know, follow my Spotify if you don't already have a non-copyright sounds playlist. And the Spotify, by the way, is at max. And let's put this volume. Yep, it's at 81. So it's not the loudest system, but I'll shut up. Now, I'm going to show you with no bass. This is with no bass. None at all. None at all. Still you can, no, it's not the loudest system. See if I can feel some vibration. Yeah, you can definitely feel some vibrations there. So this bass knob, I don't think what it really does. So let's turn it back up and see what it does. Yeah, the bass is more noticeable then. I can already feel a change in bass. you can definitely do. Actually, not where you're standing at where the camera is. You can't really feel anything. You can definitely like hear it. It's not the clearest of all systems, but it is. It still does the job. We start the song in a minute. Now, let's set everything to the max. Okay, so it's pretty loud actually. Oh yeah, you can definitely feel vibrations now. Oh yeah, I can already see it. It's excursion. I can see some excursion. So it's very minimal excursion. It's very minimal excursion, but it still does what it does basically. So there you have it. Not bad system for the price actually. Very cheap. I mean you get what you pay for really, but this isn't a very bad system for that. It really is not. There you go. So thanks for watching and we'll see you all later. Goodbye. Bye. I've had this system now for like a whopping 5 months now, so it's time that I had a review. Goodbye.
But there's no time for regrets. I've been flying from town to town.